The ending of the Reze arc in Chainsaw Man has left fans with a ton of questions, especially when it comes to Makima. It's pretty clear by now that she's not exactly a nice character, and she's definitely planning something sinister. But what exactly is she planning? And the biggest question, did Reze really die in the end? That's what I'll be breaking down in this video. I'll explain the Reze arc's ending in detail and go over the biggest mysteries surrounding it. And don't worry, I'll keep spoilers to a minimum. Still, consider this a small warning because I do need to touch on certain details to give satisfying answers. So, let's begin. In the climax of the arc, Denji faces off against Reze in a brutal fight. This battle doesn't just mark a physical struggle, it also represents the collapse of their short-lived and fragile relationship. Despite Reze's betrayal, Denji can't help but question whether her affection for him was real or just another layer of manipulation. After the fight, Reze makes a decision that changes everything. She decides to meet Denji at the cafe, possibly showing that her feelings weren't entirely fake. But before she can reach him, Makima intercepts her, and this is where things take a dark turn. Makima kills Reze before she gets the chance to see Denji again. Meanwhile, Denji waits patiently at the cafe with a bouquet of flowers, completely unaware of what just happened. This ending raises a lot of important questions, like, why did Makima kill Reze? Is Reze really dead? Or could she come back somehow? And the biggest one, what does this reveal about Makima herself? Is she truly evil? And what sinister plan is she carrying out? Let's break all of that down step by step. Why did Makima kill Reze? So let's tackle the first big question. Why did Makima kill Reze? Makima's decision wasn't random. It served multiple purposes that all tied into her larger plan. At the core of it, Denji wasn't a friend or partner to her. To Makima, Denji was simply a tool, her dog, and she needed him emotionally dependent on her at all times. Reze threatened that control. She offered Denji something Makima could never allow, a real chance at escape. Her plan to run away with him was dangerous to Makima because if Denji actually left, her manipulation would crumble. By killing Reze right before she could meet Denji at the cafe, Makima didn't just eliminate a rival, she delivered a brutal emotional blow that left Denji even more isolated and confused. That pain kept him firmly in her grasp, which is exactly what she wanted. And Makima didn't stop there. With the help of the Angel Devil, she defeated Reze and then brainwashed her into becoming one of her weapon humans. This was her standard method with powerful enemies. If she couldn't use them, she killed them. If she could, she erased their free will and turned them into her obedient soldiers. So Reze's death wasn't just about jealousy or cruelty. It was another step in Makima's methodical plan to strip away Denji's choices, destroy his attachments, and remind him that he lives completely at her mercy. What is Makima planning? That brings us to the bigger question. What is Makima actually planning? From everything we see, it's clear that her plan is sinister, disturbing, and carefully hidden. There are even hints during the Reze arc, like when Beam tells that if he reveals anything about Makima, she'll kill him. That alone foreshadows just how terrifying her reach and power really are. Actually, her entire plan is centered on Denji himself. Makima isn't just being cruel for cruelty's sake. She is systematically building Denji up, only to tear him down. Every bond he formed, every glimmer of happiness he found, she will eventually destroy it. Because her ultimate goal is to completely break Denji's spirit and force him to give up his humanity. Once that happened, she could release the full power of Chainsaw Man, the devil inside him, and then either control it or be consumed by it to create her version of a perfect world. Makima's power allows her to dominate other devils, fiends, and hybrids like Beam or Reze. She rewrites their personalities, turning them into loyal tools. But Chainsaw Man was the ultimate prize. She saw him not just as a weapon, but as a godlike force that could erase concepts from reality. Makima's ultimate plan is to create a world that aligns with her subjective and ultimately selfish ideals, and she will commit any act of cruelty necessary to achieve it. She justifies her ruthless methods as a necessary evil for a greater good. Makima sees the current world as rotten and filled with suffering caused by war, death, hunger, and other evils. She believes a world without these negative concepts would be a utopia. And with Chainsaw Man's power, she could actually erase not just the ideas of war or hunger, but also the devils that represent them. To make this dream come true, Makima manipulates, hurts, and sacrifices anyone in her way, even the people who love her most. She doesn't see this as a tragedy. To her, these people are just tools, her dogs, that she uses and discards in order to create her so-called perfect world. And that's the truth behind the Reze arc's ending. Makima killed Reze, not just out of cruelty, but because it fit perfectly into her larger, terrifying plan for Denji and the world itself. I tried to keep this explanation as spoiler-free as possible, but trust me, there's so much more that could be said about Makima, Denji, and the story that follows. What's clear is this: the Reze arc doesn't just close a tragic love story, it sets the stage for the dark, heartbreaking, and shocking turns that Chainsaw Man is famous for.